Time for the next one. All right. Let's talk tariffs. This is going to be a big one. Let's talk tariffs. How will what's going on with tariffs impact franchise systems today?
Wow, that's a loaded question. Because, most people would say right now is, I don't know,
Mm,
right? So, if you look at the volatility in the economy, is
yes.
because I don't know, right? That's a lot of what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I have to extrapolate from that, right, and say, okay, there's going to be economic change for what's going on, my first inclination will be to say it's going to be supply chain for sure.
Supply chain, yep.
Whether those companies that are outsourcing more, especially from the US, or if they have to change where their supply chain is going from. So, I'll use the auto industry because that's a big one. I know it's not franchising, but they're
Oh,
looking.
there are some franchises in the automotive industry,
Mm-hmm.
like
Yes.
Jiffy, Mr. Lube, right?
Right.
There's lots of different franchise models there.
Right. Right. I say that to say though, because there's a lot of things like auto parts that go back
Mm,
and forth. Now, when you look at food supply and those types of things, how are they going to be affected, right? Obviously, it's going to affect price increases, those types of things, inflation, all those things that are anticipated. Like I said at the beginning, we don't really know, but you
yes.
would expect costs to go up. Now, where do those costs go? Do you eat it, shrink your margins, pass it along? What's really going to happen with these types of things?
Mm,
Most of us can see you go to the grocery store and you can already see changes from week to week saying, hey, what? I paid
yeah.
that last week and now I'm paying. Now,
Yeah.
so translate it to a franchise and say, okay, now when I walk in there, where are they getting their sourcing their elements for their business? And how
Yeah.
is that going to affect them? And what do they do with that once they analyze those numbers?
Yeah. Yeah, you brought up the perspective of the impact to the franchisor and the responsibility maybe a little bit there. Um, you've talked about a little bit the customer impact and maybe a sticker shock, or where exactly do you funnel those changes to pricing, whether it's at the franchisor level, whether some of it gets passed down to the franchisee and therefore maybe even the customer. Where do you make up the differences? And it's hard to answer that question when we're early in the game, and like you said, there's still a lot of unknowns, right? The way I kind of see tariffs is, I agree, supply chain is going to be where we see it the most, but I actually see it as a pretty unique opportunity for franchising,
Yes.
and I'll tell you why. Here in the GTA in Toronto, we have such a diverse population of people, of cultures, of products, of services right at our fingertips. We don't have to go very far to find brilliant people across the city. And I think this is a great opportunity for whether it's an emerging franchise brand or an established franchise brand to take a look at their supply chain and see where there might be opportunity to connect with the local communities that have grown their brand, helped their brand. They, serves their brand serves these communities. I think this is a great opportunity to actively seek out people, companies, small businesses that can help fill those gaps so that we don't have to take on as much of a cost, so that we don't have to worry too much about what's happening south of the border. We can really hone in on building and developing the communities that we exist in and that we serve. So that's kind of like the way I see it. I see it as an exciting opportunity, though I can understand why it might inspire, fear or uncertainty at this time.
Yeah, and I absolutely agree. A free market always adjusts.
Yeah.
Gaps will be filled, so it's an opportunity right now for entrepreneurs who are inspiring to get in and fill some of those gaps or expand out.
Yeah.
Um, the unfortunate part is that it's usually done with some pain,
Mm.
wherein markets are changed, especially when you talk about stuff with like trade coming back and forth. Now there is some pain with that because there's cost to even developing, right? So,
Yes.
but in the long term, as they say, short-term pain for long-term gain. That's what I believe would be the best, because there's a lot of industries here that we could probably develop by ourselves. There's brands that can expand out,
Yes.
and really grow with the help of consultants. Right?
Yes.
Right? But yeah, definitely there's opportunity in the marketplace if something like this happens. It's just how to navigate that, and what type of pain are we going to go through to try and, develop some of those brands and source new supply chains and those types of things as we go along the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. I love that there's opportunity on both sides that help build and grow and add value to the brand. I think it's a beautiful thing, and actually look forward to seeing how franchise brands adapt over the next little while to the changes that are coming down.
Right.
I guess my next kind of follow-up question to that is, what should franchise leaders do right now? What should the communication look like? Should there be communication around tariffs for their franchisees, for their corporate teams, for people who might be looking to hear from franchise leadership? What should the message be?
Right now, it's like, I guess, most things in the market, watch and plan with a contingency. One of the best things you can do is not over panic. Yeah. If you have supply chains and those types of things already in place that are working, don't look to change them just because they're changing, but also start to work towards contingencies, because you don't want to be, left at the last minute looking for change as well. And communicate those with your franchisees, knowing that you have contingencies or a couple options should something need to be changed, very quickly if that happens.
Yeah, I think you make a really great point about taking a proactive approach to the communication. It's okay to say we don't have it all figured out right now. We're not sure, right. But we have a contingency plan in place. We are actively looking to source more local suppliers. These type of things, I think, are important to communicating to your franchise system to help ease some of the nerves, to help people feel like they have support and that they're being supported during this turbulent or transitional time. Right. So I think, again, you make a really good point about being proactive. Don't wait until, you have all the answers or think you do. Right. Just tell them what you do know, right? Tell them what you do know.
Honestly, that should be happening anyways. Right. It's the entrepreneurial mindset. Like, whether it's a franchise or a new business owner or somebody's established, you should always be looking to growing, vetting your supply chains and everything you're doing, because if you're not growing, you're stalling, right? So that should be happening anyways. Yes. This is just a wake-up call to say, hey, if tariffs come in, then we should be looking at that as well as other parts of your business model.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's important that you mention the other parts of the business model, because when a topic like tariffs comes front and center and there's so much attention on it, it's easy to get distracted with it and make it bigger than it needs to be. And sometimes you take your eye off of the things that you can control and that are within your control. So things like making sure you execute on the brand standard, making sure that your customers are taken care of, your team members are taken care of, not straying from operational standards during tough times, making sure that you're still delivering a consistent experience for the brand is really important during these times.
Right. And we're going to go back to the business coach for a second, because this is where a business coach becomes very important, because, one of the things that may happen is that if franchisees and franchisors are not communicating, franchisees will go and find their own solutions. And then, you start to fracture a business model. So communication is very important, that everybody's on the same page and that the brand model stays consistent through it all.
Yes, right? Consistency.
It's better for all stakeholders.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for that.
Right.
Thank you for that. That was a good one.